Hello, little tiny update for you again this week. I had a lot of plans for things that I wanted to do and I didn't do most of them, but I did get this one wet finished and I've pressed it. Now I don't want to set a standard for the channel that I cannot possibly maintain, but this came out of the wet finish so wrinkly, I thought just this once, let's pretend we've got standards. Now the difference in shrinkage, which I was talking about as a potential thing that might happen last week, because I didn't sample this, I never sample. There is a difference in the shrinkage. You might be able to see that those horizontal rainbow lines there are a little bit wavy. That's just the difference. So the rainbow yarn here is a merino nylon blend from Changeling Coloured Yarns, and the gold is tencel from Go Handmade, tencel bamboo from Go Handmade. The shrinkage does mean though, because the merino also bloomed, so the stripes are a lot bolder and easier to see, which I like. And I'm really happy with it. It's soft, it's got a nice drape to it, and it's come out well. And I'm really, especially now, I'm showing that so well. There we go, there's some light. You can see that wrinkle. I can't point to it because I'm using both my hands already. If I hold that a little bit closer, that sort of big wrinkle right underneath that stripe at the bottom there, that's from the shrinkage. I have pressed it. So there is a little bit of texture from the different yarns, but that's fine and fair. That's fine and fair. These things, this is why I don't sample, because I like to be surprised, and also I'm lazy. So that one is finished. I was going to call this the spun gold scarf, but I think I might call it the pot of gold scarf because of the rainbow. That would be very poetic, right? Very poetic and interesting. And I am nothing if not poetic and interesting. Okay, so off the big loom is Pardalote. I haven't wet finished it, but I have twisted the fringes. So this is ready to have its little wash, and I'm going to show you the length. I'm going to hide behind it and show you the colour shift. I think I'm in shot. Yes. So that goes through from the reds and oranges and yellows into the spots, the white spots, and there's some sort of interesting pattern development there, which I'm really pleased with. And then it carries on through, back through that warm colours, repeat again, and then to the other end with the twisted fringe, which took ages. I'm going to show you that because it took ages, and I complained the whole time. So there's the twisted fringe. That just needs a wet finish, and it's ready to go. And when I say go, it's not going anywhere because I'm keeping this one. So the big loom is now out of play again because I am going to sew some things. Perhaps. No, I am. I am going to do that. I need to print out a pattern. I did have a pattern that I was going to use, a shift dress pattern from Simplicity, and I pulled it out, ready to cut it out and get going, and I looked at it and thought, that is a really boring looking dress. And my concern is that in the fabrics that I plan to use to make the dresses, it's going to look like I'm out in public in my nightgown. So I went on a big hunt, because although I have probably been out in a nightgown as a child, I am theoretically an adult now. So I've had a big look for another pattern. I've found another pattern which I think is still going to look a bit nightgowny, but it's also got like a button situation, an optional button. So if I put an optional button on it, people will say, I thought it was a nightgown, but there's a button on that, must be a dress. That's my plan, and it's going to work brilliantly. Anyway, nothing on the big loom. Big loom is put to one side. And nothing on the little loom. That's technically a lie. I'm going to put my Pardalote down so I can talk with my hands. So, I warped up the little loom yesterday, and I got to the point last night where I was about to tie it on. So, basically, when you warp up a loom, you attach everything to the back beam, you roll everything onto the back beam, and then you take the ends that are now at the front, and you attach them to the front beam. You either tie them on or lash them on, however you want to do it, it's all fine. I actually lash on, I don't tie on. Not that it's relevant to anything, I just thought you might be interested. And I was at that stage where I was about to lash on and get everything tensioned and ready to go, and I thought I actually deeply hate this yarn. It's from the very depths of the stash. So the thing is, I have a shuttle loaded with quite a fine novelty yarn, which is, I thought red when I saw it in the shop, and it's actually, I think, a dark pink, but it depends on what light you're looking at it in. And I was going to put that with a pale pink, it didn't work. I've got it loaded on a shuttle, and because it's a really fine yarn, I don't want to unload the shuttle because I'm lazy. So I thought I'll just find something to weave it. Just find something to weave on it, it's all good. So I warped up this acrylic, and the first clue that I should not have persevered was that it is a very staticky yarn. And what that means is that when you've got all your strands measured out to your peg, you know, you measure out, well, I don't know if you do know, but I measure out to a peg, and then I've just got these long strands of yarn all through the house while I'm warping up the loom. And because of the static, they were spreading out and crackling when I walked past them. And that should have really, after about the first 3 loops, I should have thought, you know what, this is going to be a nightmare. Not a nightmare. I mean, there are worse things that can happen to a person, really, if we're honest. Anyway, it feels horrible. It's very cheap acrylic. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why I bought it. Possibly my aunt bought it. Somebody bought it. I don't know why. So that is technically on the little loom. It's about to not be on the little loom anymore. I'm going to do something else that's going to be more fun to weave. So the little loom is not currently active. The big loom has been put away while I do the sewing. I've just got to print out that pattern and tape it together. You can tell why I've been procrastinating on that. I don't love taping patterns together, but the nearest place that will do a big print, places will do a big like A0 sized printout for you. The nearest place that will do that for a reasonable price is like 30 minutes on the train, and buses are replacing trains at the moment, and it's just not worth it. I'd rather tape it together in the comfort of my own home. But I do have some progress on the cross stitch. So last time I showed you the cross stitch, it looked like this. So last week, as you can see, it was very, very nearly all filled in, and this week it is all filled in, and I've started the back stitch. I've started the back stitch up here in the corner. So I rather smugly thought on Sunday night when I put the last stitch in, oh, I shall simply do the back stitch for Wednesday. No, of course I didn't. It's quite fiddly back stitch. There's a lot of stitches that don't line up with the edges of the crosses. Did that make any sense? Probably not. So this is Ada fabric, and you can see, hopefully, if that's in any way in focus or in the light, that it's woven in squares. It's woven in blocks with holes on each of the 4 corners of each square. And that's how you keep your cross stitches tidy, because you have those holes. That's where your needle goes, and that gives you uniform crosses. So the back stitch in this case is starting sometimes in those corner holes and sometimes halfway along the block or halfway down the block or in the middle of the block. I think there's one here that's in the middle of the block. And I don't mean to sound appalled, but I slightly am. So I'm using a sharp to do those so that I can puncture through the fabric more easily and get a cleaner finish. And because also the sharp is thinner, so if I was using the tapestry needle that I used to do the stitches, all of these back stitches that started and finished in a weird space would have a little sort of hole around them, and I don't love that. So I'm just using a normal hand sewing needle to do the back stitch, which will probably take me the better part of the rest of the year because, as I said, it's a little bit fiddly. I am enjoying it. This is not chart finished. There's a little pink square. You can see one. There's an example right there. That's supposed to be scattered. There's supposed to be a few of those around the outside of the design. And I finished the design except for those pink squares, and I looked at the cover of the kit and I looked at this and I thought, you know, I don't actually like them that much. I'm just going to skip them. You're allowed to do that. Nobody's going to come and get me for it. I've made a few tiny little changes to this design, and that's one of them. And the police have got nothing to say about it. But that is where I'm at with the cross stitch. The little loom, I think, I haven't decided. It's probably going to be purple because I've got a really nice purple yarn and I've got a bit of an idea as to how to make that a bit fancy. So possibly something purple on the loom for next week, but I don't know. I don't know. The main thing is I'm going to get that yellow acrylic off and put it somewhere where I don't have to look at it, touch it, or think about it until I need to stuff something, until I need to stuff a soft toy or a cushion or something. And then I will bring it out into the light. That's all I have for you this week. Thank you so much for watching. You take care of yourself. Have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.